Hey loves, welcome back to another video. To all my new subscribers, welcome. To all of my returning subscribers, thank you for tuning in. So as you guys can tell today by the title, I'm gonna be showing you guys a few books that I own, that I have part of my collection, and it's definitely not gonna stop here, but I just felt like today I just wanted to give you guys an insight of the type of books that I read. If you are interested in purchasing or interested in finding a new book, something that's around your style and so on, right? So first of all, actually, before I get started, do you guys love my outfit? Like, I loved it today. I just came from work and I was like, it's spring, let me just bring out something cute. One of my colleagues said that I look like a bunny, but that's okay. I'll take it because bunnies are cute, okay? So I'm very springy today, but anyways, let's not go off topic and let's get started. So the first book that I'm gonna introduce you guys to is by Sister Soldier, and it's called The Coldest Winter Ever. Okay, this is what the cover looks like. I'm gonna show you guys what all of the covers look like so that you guys know what you're looking for when you try to purchase and how it looks. Okay, so I know a lot of people probably have read this one. My best friend, she said that she read it back in middle school or high school. I personally don't remember reading it, but you know, I asked my friends in the group chat what types of books that you guys recommend, and I kind of like explained what I was looking for. I was looking for love, drama, a mixture of both. So they sent like a whole list, and I definitely purchased everything that they mentioned. And this first one was the very first one that I decided to try out, right? So if you guys don't know much about these books, I'm just gonna read the back of them so that you guys have an insight of what it's about, and then I'll explain a little bit about like more of it, okay, and if I really liked it or not. All right, so this one says the stunning national bestseller now features an illuminating discussion with Sister Soldier, her secret thoughts on creating the story that has sold more than 1 million copies worldwide and introduced readers everywhere to the real ghetto experience. So again, I forgot to mention some of these books are definitely detailed, okay, including this one. Here are answers to the questions fans everywhere have been asking, the meanings and inspirations behind such memorable characters as Winter, Midnight, and Santiago, and insights into why and how Soldier conceived one of the most powerful novels of our time. Okay, so the three people that I just mentioned, Winter, Midnight, and Santiago, is the main characters in the book. So again, they said a real ghetto experience. And yes, in this book it is very detailed. So it's pretty much based off of the reality of most Black families growing up in maybe the roughest areas. I'm trying to like figure out the words to pretty much explain it, right? And there's a lot of love in here, a lot of drama with love, and it goes into details about the physical part of things, of the love. And you know, it's something that would definitely be eye-catching, or a type of book that you don't want to put down. Let's just say that, because it's definitely thick, and you know, there's a lot to it, but it's so interesting. If you're kind of like me, you would definitely be interested in that type of book. If you're interested in, you know, the Black love, the things that some of us go through with love, as well as growing up in certain areas. And yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys the next book that Sister Soldier has that I was also interested in. I would say that it's like a part 2 to The Coldest Winter Ever. So this one is called A Deeper Love Inside. All right, so this one is the Porsche Santiago story. Okay, so you guys will find out who Santiago is in this book so that you understand this book. Okay, so it's another lifetime based off of the first book, which is The Coldest Winter Ever, that I just went over. And one of them is the sister. So the sister of Winter is Porsche, right? That's the only part that I'm going to tell you guys. but this one is pretty much like a part 2. Okay, so I'm gonna read the back of that one as well. It said, at last, mega best-selling author Sister Soldier delivers the stunning sequel to The Coldest Winter Ever, which is what I just said, that fans have been eagerly waiting for. Frighteningly fierce, raw, and completely unpredictable, the coming-of-age adventure is woven with emotional intensity. A deeper love inside is written in the words of Portia Santiago, Winter's sharp-tongued, quick-witted young sister, which she is. Portia worshipped Winter. A natural-born hustler, Portia is also cut from the same cloth as her father, the infamous Ricky Santiago. Passionate and loyal to the extreme, Portia refuses to accept her new life in group homes, foster care, and juvenile detention after her wealthy family is torn apart. Portia, unique, young, and beautiful, cries as much as she fights and uses whatever she has to claim her status. Unselfishly, she pushes to get back everything that ever belonged to her loving family. In a deeper love inside, readers will encounter their favorite characters from The Coldest Winter Ever, including Winter and Midnight. The Sister Soldier soulful writing will again move your heart and open your eyes to a shocking reality. So again, this book is based off of the first part, which is The Coldest Winter Ever, and it just talks about her family later on in life after there was a disaster that happened in this first book. So it's definitely a rough book to read in terms of what goes on. So I forgot to add that these books are also based off of drugs and alcohol and, you know, just everything that comes to play when you think about the ghetto life, like the book says, right? So it's also very interesting because, like I said, there's also love and drama, and so on. So the final book that I have of Sister Soldier is Life After Death. So this is what this one looks like. I haven't finished it yet because, to be honest, it takes a lot to get into, just because it's like you really have to be deep in the book with no distractions. Whereas the first two that I explained to you guys, those were a lot easier reads. But this one is based off of one of the sisters again, which is Winter, which is the oldest sister. And I don't want to tell too much of the book, but this one is literally just pretty much the last sequel to The Coldest Winter Ever, if I'm not mistaken, because that's the only 3 that I knew about. So it's, I don't know if I can say if I like it or not. These 2 I definitely loved, but this one I don't know if I can say I like it or not. And I guess that's why I haven't finished it yet, because that's the only book that I haven't finished. But I'm gonna finish it though, just because I just want to say that I finished it and I can really speak on it. But so far I've gotten really far into the book and it's like, I don't know what to really think. Like, and I've seen a lot of reviews and stars and it's not as high as these books. So I guess it's not only me, but I still won't say don't get it. So it's good to still get it and read it to complete everything, you know, to complete all of the sequels so that you can understand really what happened with everyone's life, right? So those are Sister Soldiers. Now I'm gonna move on to the next. Now we're moving on to Tracy Brown. So with Tracy Brown, I also have 3 books of hers. There's a part 1, 2, and 3. So the part 1 is just called White Lines. And as you can see, White Lines, maybe that can give you guys an insight of what this book is also about. Like I said, a lot of my books is very similar because that's just the books that I'm into. Just like certain shows that I'm sure some of you guys have watched, which is Power, BMF, P-Valley. So it's like, those are the books to the shows, if you want to put it that way, right? So that's just what I'm into. Like I said, I'm just sharing you guys the type of books that I'm into. Okay, so White Lines, looking at the page, it can pretty much just give you an insight of what it's about. White Lines, okay? So I'm gonna read the back of that one, and it says Jada leaves home at the age of 16, running from her own demons and the horrors of physical abuse inflicted on her and her mother's boyfriend. She parties hard, and life seems good when she is with Bourne, the neighborhood kingpin whose name is synonymous with money, power, and respect. But all of his love can't save her from a crack addiction. Jada goes from crack addict to prostitute to survivor and back again before she finds the strength to leave for herself and come out on top. And her stormy romance with one of the fiercest hustlers on the streets makes White Lines one of the most unforgettable urban love stories of the year. Okay, so just that gives you guys an insight of what that's about, so I don't even have to really say much. Okay, this first part was really good to the point where once again I couldn't put this book down, so I had to get part 2 and 3. All right, so this is what part 2 looks like. This one is just called White Lines 2, and it is about Sunny. So Sunny is somebody that is also in this first book. So long story short, these two girls actually are friends. So this one says Sunny. So Sunny, like I said, is one of the characters in that book. Okay, so for this one, it says, in her most stunning, reviving, unstoppable novel yet, best-selling and critical acclaimed author Tracy Brown delivers the not-to-be-missed sequel to White Lines, because like I just said, there is part 1, 2, and 3, so there is a sequel. On the surface, it appears that Sunny has got it all: the looks, the money, a beautiful home, a healthy daughter, and friends who love her. But Sunny has a secret, something she hasn't even told her best friend. The truth is, Sunny is unhappy. She still misses her beloved Dorian and worries that no other man will ever captivate her the way he did. She's dated some very powerful and successful men since Dorian's death. But will she ever find love again? It isn't long before Sunny is chasing those white lines again. And when the truth finally explodes, will Sunny be able to put her life back together? Okay, so again, the back of the book pretty much tells everything. Well, not everything, but what the book is really going to be about. And yeah, part 2, oh my gosh, a lot goes on. Okay, a lot goes on. And again, that's one of the reasons why I always try to complete the sequels to these books, because I really just want to find out how everything pretty much ended, right? Because we already started off how everything transpired, but we want to know how everything ended, right? So with part 3, it says the White Lines part 3, all falls down. All right, so that's how this one looks. And again, it's the continuation of the sequel. So it says the ultimate love story forged on the gritty streets of New York began with White Lines, and now in the stunning conclusion, Jada and Bourne came full circle, but not without paying a hefty price. On the surface, Jada's life is back on track. She battled her demons, her son is a permanent part of her life, and yet it still feels like her son's on a shaky ground. What she really needs to settle her soul is to have Bourne back in her life and in her arms again. Reuniting with the man she loves is proving to be the hardest thing she's ever fought for. And when a brutal and shocking event tests the foundation of Jada and Bourne's resolve, it will take every drop of willpower they process to stay on top. Okay? So this is the last part to it. One of these books are based in New York. All 3 of these, definitely a must buy. All right? All right, so we have another one by Tracy Brown, which I forgot actually. But the first few that I just said was the sequel, but this one is different. So this one is called Twisted, okay, by Tracy Brown. This is what it looks like. And this one, it says, Celeste Styles is starting over after losing her cherished salon in a suspicious fire. She leaves her adulterous relationship and her drama-filled life in Brooklyn for the peace and tranquility of Atlanta, Georgia. But when her ex-lover, Rollo, leaves his wife, Asia, and heads south, Celeste is floored and isn't quite sure if she wants to be rekindle their relationship. Meanwhile, Asia is hell-bent over revenge, vowing not to let Celeste get away with her man that easily. She too heads to Atlanta. But just on her heels is Ishmael Wright, ready to save the day and to warn his best friend, Rollo, about the vengeful wife, though Ishmael also has something else up his sleeve. Secret betrayals are exposed, bitter rivalries explode, love is lost and found. Life will never be the same on the streets of Hotlanta in Tracy Brown's epic new urban drama. This one is just more so just based off of the love and the love drama and so on, right? This is another go-to. Next one is called Love is Never Painless. This one is by Zane. All right, so this one again is similar to the other books that I told you, but it's just a little bit different, right? But again, the same. It says Zane is the New York Times best-selling author of Afterburn, The Heat Seekers, Dare G-Spot, Getting Buck Wild, The Hot Box, Total Eclipse of the Heart, Nervous, Skyscraper, and The Sisters of APF. The ebook short stories I'll Be Home for Christmas and Everything Fades Away. And editor for the Flava and anthology series, including Z-Rated and Busybodies. Her television series, Zane's SEX Chronicles and The Jump Off, are featured on Cinemax. And her best-selling novel, Addicted, has been adapted for the major motion picture with Lionsgate Films. The back of the book doesn't really tell you much of what it's about, because it just mentioned like all of the other books that's similar to this, but this one is really just talks about love. It includes love making and again very detailed, rated R, but yes, this is also a go-to, okay, a good buy. So the last three books that I'm going to talk about are books that were introduced to me at my job actually. First one actually is called Bud Not Buddy. It's a really good book if you are pretty much teaching about back in the day African American lives, and just what life can be like for both adults and kids that are growing up in the system, I guess if you want to say, right? Because with this little boy, his name is Bud, not Buddy, he was growing up in a foster system, and you know, he kept switching from family to family. Eventually he ran away trying to find his dad and so on. So let me read the back of the book. And it says, it's 1936 in Flint, Michigan. Times may be hard, and 10-year-old Bud may be a motherless boy on the run, but he's got a few things going on for him. 1, he has his own suitcase full of special things. 2, he's the author of Bud Caldwell's Rules and Things for Having a Funnier Life and Making a Better Liar Out of Yourself. And 3, his mama never told him who his father was, but she left a clue. Flyers and advertising Herman E. Calloway and his famous band, the Dusky Devastators of Depression. Okay, Bud's got an idea that those flyers will lead him to his father. Once he decides to hit the road and find this mystery man, nothing can stop him. Not hunger, not fear, not vampires, not even Herman E. Calloway. Okay, so this was during the time of the Great Depression, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So it was time during the Great Depression, and once again, he's someone that's on the run trying to find his dad and going from foster home after foster home. So, you know, I would say it's a good ending. it's a pretty good ending, but it's also just a really fun, interesting story, you know, based off of this little boy. So that right there is a pretty good read. The next one I got introduced to was recently, and this one is called The Four Agreements, okay, wisdom book by Don Miguel Ruiz. And this one has been very inspirational because I've never thought like a book would really have you thinking about life on a whole different level. So as you guys can tell, I switched up with the type of books that I explained. That was a bit wild in the beginning, but now it's something more, I guess, more eye-opening, I guess, when it comes to life, right? So anyways, this book is really, really good. It's considered like a guidance through life. So it's like your therapist. That's how I would put it. Okay. So this book talks about the four agreements, and I will just read the four agreements to you guys as a way of explaining it. So the first agreement is called be impeccable with your word. The second agreement, don't take anything personally. The third, don't make assumptions. And the fourth is always do your best. So in the mix of all of this four agreements, he relates it back to real life. He gives you guys a scenario of what he really means when he explains those four agreements, and that's what I love. It's something that a lot of us actually know about that has happened in real life, that he also mentioned in some of it, and he gives you guys just kind of just an idea overall, okay, of what it could be. And it's very powerful. It's very powerful. I love the fact that he ended it with a prayer. It says pray for freedom, and there's another prayer called prayer for love, right? That prayer is absolutely amazing. I've never read a book that ended off in a prayer, so I was just like, wow, this is amazing. So yeah, this book was introduced by a teacher actually at my job, and we do have a class called advising, and he's the advising teacher, and that's one of the books that he brought out. And when he was explaining it to the class, I was just like, wow, I was really intrigued by it. So I borrowed it, read it, and I loved it, and I decided to order my own copy. And I explained it to my mom. She wanted to read it. I got her a copy. Me and my colleague, one of my other colleagues, we were talking about it. She was talking about certain things that, you know, made her really double think how she handles certain situations. I shared my piece, and you know, even the teacher and I, we actually spoke about it because he read it before me, of course, and I just told him certain things that I liked about the book. But overall, yeah, it's amazing. And you know, I could tell that some of the students were actually very interested in certain parts that he was talking about when it comes to this book, which is really, really good because, you know, with kids, it's like you can't really get their attention on certain things like this. So it made me happy that, you know, some of the kids were actually taking it into thought, right? And asking questions and wanting to really talk about it. So again, this book is very inspirational. Like I said, I call it like a guidance to life. And you know, to refresh your mind and to kind of help you, like guide you through how you could potentially handle certain situations, especially about yourself, you know, because like I said, one of them says that one of the agreements is be impeccable with your word. For that one, for example, he kind of explains pretty much how the words that you use can impact your life and impact others, or it can hurt you or hurt others. So the things that you say, it can change somebody's mindset to believe in certain things and just make everything either for the better or for the worse, right? When you wake up every day, you probably talk to yourself and try to give yourself good advice, or you wake up miserable every day and don't see yourself as something that's someone that's good enough, and so on. So the way you speak to yourself, the way you speak to others, it impacts them or you in a major way. So it's very enlightening. This book is a go-to. Okay, the second one that I was told about, which in this book too, he actually says the list, he wrote the list of a whole bunch of books that he has, and this one was one of them, which my colleague, the same teacher that I got this book from, he told me about this one. This one is called The Mastery of Love by the same author, by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I haven't read this one yet, but like I said, I'm into love. I'm into just everything that I can relate to. So I'm definitely going to start reading this. His first book was really good, so I can only imagine that this won't be good. Of course, I know it's going to be good. So this one is pretty much based off of beliefs, assumptions about love, the undermining drama or suffering about relationships, and pretty much, I guess, how you can try to change the perspective of love and the way we pretty much act in our relationships and the things that we do to try to keep it or run away from and so on. So I definitely can't wait to start this book. And if you guys want, you can ask me in the comments down below if I really like this one or just more questions about it, because like I said, I am gonna start reading it like ASAP. So yeah, that comes to the end of my book collection actually. Oh my gosh. But all of these books can be found on Amazon. That's where I bought them from. This one was given to me, but I'm assuming you can find that on Amazon too. If you guys are having issues, please let me know down in the comments down below, and I can take the link and I can just paste it on there for you guys if that makes it easier. So I hope you guys do enjoy my book collection. Again, if you guys have any more questions or just anything else that you want to know about all of the books or any specific books, please comment down below and I will be glad to answer. So as always, thank you guys for watching and stay tuned to my next video. Bye. Mwah.